As the sun's first light touched the grand palace gates, Cinderella stepped into a world she had only ever dreamed of. Her heart pounded with a mix of wonder and unease. She had longed for peace, for a place to call her own. Yet everything around her, the towering spires, the manicured gardens, the hushed whispers of servants, felt so new, so strange. This magnificent fortress was to be her home, but it felt like a foreign land. She took a deep breath, clutching the simple hope that had carried her this far, the hope for a quiet, gentle life. For the first time, she had a room that was truly hers. It wasn't a cold, dusty attic, but a chamber bathed in morning sunlight, filled with golden mirrors that reflected a girl she barely recognized, and a bed draped in silk sheets, softer than anything she had ever touched. The mornings were quiet, peaceful, but as she traced the intricate patterns on the wallpaper, her heart still remembered the cinders, the soot, and the loneliness of the hearth. This luxury was a beautiful dream, but the shadows of her past were long, and she wondered if she would ever truly leave them behind. Palace life, she quickly discovered, was a dance with its own intricate steps. A stern but well-meaning lady-in-waiting was assigned to teach her the royal ways. There was a proper way to walk, a precise way to curtsy, a specific way to hold a fork, and even a calculated way to smile at members of the court. Each lesson was a new rule in a book she had never read. Yet, Cinderella listened with unwavering attention. She absorbed every detail with the same humility and patience that had defined her for years. She didn't see these lessons as a burden, but as a way to honor the new life she had been given, always remembering to be kind. Her true character, however, shone brightest not in the grand halls, but in the quiet, unseen moments. One morning, as she walked through a sunlit corridor, a young maid, startled by her presence, dropped a heavy silver tray. It crashed to the marble floor with a deafening clatter. The girl froze, her face pale with fright, expecting a harsh reprimand. But instead of scolding, Cinderella knelt beside her. "It's all right," she said softly, her voice a gentle balm. With a warm smile, she helped the trembling maid gather the scattered plates. Her simple act of compassion, echoing louder than any royal decree. She found herself drawn not to the opulent drawing rooms, but to the warmth and bustle of the palace kitchens. The cooks and scullery maids, initially wary of her presence, soon found a friend in the future queen. She would sit with them, sharing a loaf of fresh bread or a simple bowl of stew, listening to their stories and sharing laughter that felt more genuine than any polite conversation in the staterooms. To Cinderella, a crown wasn't something you wore on your head. It was the kindness you carried in your heart. And here, among the flower-dusted tables and steaming pots, she felt a familiar sense of belonging. But kindness, she learned, could not erase the whispers that followed her like a shadow. As she glided through the hallways, some servants would fall silent, their eyes following her with a mixture of awe and suspicion. "The girl from the ashes," they would murmur, their words laced with envy or disbelief. Can a cinder maid truly become a queen? The gossip stung, a cruel reminder of a life she was trying to leave behind. Yet Cinderella never responded with anger or bitterness. She simply held her head high, her silence a testament to a strength forged in years of enduring cruelty. One afternoon, a royal messenger arrived, his face grim. He brought news of her step-family. Their fortunes had crumbled, and they were facing hardship and destitution. As Cinderella listened, a flicker of old pain crossed her eyes, the memory of cold words and colder nights. The court expected her to rejoice, to relish their downfall, but that was not her way. With tears welling in her eyes, not of joy, but of sorrow for their suffering, she asked only one thing of the prince: to send them help, to ensure they had food and a roof over their heads. Forgiveness, she knew, was the only path to her own peace. The palace, for all its splendor, was not immune to the small quarrels and disagreements of everyday life. One day, she came upon two servants, locked in a bitter argument over a misplaced task. Their voices were sharp, their faces flushed with anger. Instead of commanding them to be silent, Cinderella sat with them. She listened patiently to each side, her gentle presence soothing their frayed nerves. She spoke of understanding and forgiveness, sharing her own experiences of how holding on to hurt only poisons the heart. She was slowly healing the palace, not with magic, but with empathy. Soon, the cold, formal atmosphere of the palace began to change. The halls, once filled with stiff protocol, now echoed with genuine laughter. At Cinderella's suggestion, a small feast was held, but it was unlike any the court had seen before. Nobles and servants, cooks, and ladies-in-waiting all sat together, sharing food and stories as equals. The palace felt warmer, brighter, not from the glittering chandeliers, but from the radiant kindness of its queen-to-be. She was showing them all that a community is built, not on status, but on mutual respect and care. That night, Cinderella stood on her balcony, gazing at the sea of stars sparkling in the velvet sky. The cool breeze felt like a gentle caress. A soft, contented smile graced her lips. The grand palace no longer felt like a beautiful cage, but a home, a place she had helped fill with warmth and light. No magic, she whispered to the moon, is greater or more powerful than a kind heart. And as the peaceful silence of the night enveloped her, she finally truly felt at peace. Thank you for watching our story. If you enjoyed this magical tale, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Fairy Tale Fables. For more stories that warm the heart, we'll see you next time.